so they can see the video of the guy outside of Disneyland. And let me know what you think about this, if you think this is a problem or not.
So my name's Nick. I'm one of Fairy Godmother's apprentices. I'm here to shop you around and make all your selections for the day.
That was it?
Thoughts? No, the point is they're saying that they've got a man dressed in women's clothes outside.
The mustache is much more offensive to me.
The fact that he's got a mustache?
Yeah, if you're going to dress like a woman, you got to shave it, man. Come on.
This has been going on for, I think, at least 6 months. I remember the Timcast news team covered it a little while ago. I think the strange thing is that, like, there are parents who are like, no problem, we'll still take our kid there. You know, like, when this came up, I knew a lot of parents who were like, I remember taking my child when she was young there, and now I would never do that. In some ways, Disney is robbing kids of what could be a really fun, or probably slightly overpriced experience.
Very overpriced experience.
To then say, like, we can do whatever we want, and we know you will continue to show up. And I think that's kind of sick, right?
Well, that's what they're proving, right? Is that people will end up showing up anyways, and the average person isn't really aware of just how much the culture has shifted. At least, in my opinion, I think that the average person, they're busy with work, they're busy with kids, they're busy with all of these other things, and they're not paying attention to these aspects of the culture as they change so drastically. One of the things they talk about is getting rid of gendered language at Disney. So, like, you're not even allowed, you know, they're not going to be talking boys and girls. Dude, because that's offensive.
Because, like, I always thought about this when you enter a room of your friends and it's guys and girls. You don't say, hey, guys and girls. You say, hey, guys, how you doing? And no one's ever had a problem with it. No one's ever took issue with it, you know?
Not until recently.
But now it's like you're supposed to say folks, right? Like they want to erase gendered language. I think that's so
I've doubled down.
Or comrades, that was one I saw on a list. Interesting.
When we covered the girl who made the video about how she had to, like, prepare to go see a Taylor Swift concert by wearing, like, basically like a rebreather to, like, cycle out her own oxygen so she wouldn't supposedly get COVID at this event. And then she talks about how she brought, like, masks to give away for free for people, and nobody wanted one. But also, like, did a thing where she went to like one of the SAG rallies and was giving out masks to show support for all of the actors. And in the flyer,
but a little bit of
in the flyer, it said comrades, because they're all communists.
Yes, of course.
I got a question.
Yes.
You're a millennial, right?
Yeah. I'm like right at the end, I think.
You're Gen Z.
It depends on which source you look at. I'm either the youngest millennial or the oldest Gen Z.
Yeah, that's what I would get. I'd either get I was the oldest Gen Z, but I think I'm actually just like end of millennial.
Because
it depends what you look at.
Because there was a study that came out recently, so that the men are becoming like increasingly conservative and the girls are becoming increasingly.
I don't buy it. I'm not sold on that. If conservatives are, I don't want to get political, but if conservatives are banking on like young men to save the day in 24, they're in for a sad, sad day.
My question is that between the Gen Z themselves, like, do you feel like there's a big divide between men and women? In general, for anything cultural,
the dating culture stuff has done that more.
Yeah, there is. But they're also
that's more millennial, I think.
We're like, because we grew up with the internet, right? Like, we're so apathetic and indifferent to like politics and most of this culture war nonsense. Yeah. But when we do have an opinion, it's way over the top. You know, that's the thing. A lot of it, we're very like nihilist, or like we don't
Mary
care.
would agree with you about that.
Yeah, we really don't care what's going on.
I feel like you guys are like the unmarketable generation. It's so impossible
because the only thing that works is the people that they aren't marketed to by a corporation.
Because we kind of saw the what is next? Alpha is what's after us.
Yes.
There I'd be a little bit more wary about, because they grew up exclusively with the internet.
Oh, I'm worried about you guys.
We had it introduced to us. We kind of saw both worlds.
See, I think younger Gen Z grew up exclusively with the internet too. I think it's the tail end of millennial, beginning of Gen Z that grew up with like introduction to it. You were still remembering dial-up internet or like whatever else.
The old world.
There's a super chat there from DD Megadoodle 97.
He says, hello all, Brett, HCB, Dane, the main attraction font. That's amazing. And Kellen, I'm hijacking this crisis party for my birthday. Happy Friday, y'all.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, dude. Also, the main is spelled A-N-E, so it's here. You got amazing hair. Happy birthday, buddy.
I like the one right before it from Quite Blackpilled that says, you good, Brett? You seem stressed.
Well, I wonder why.
I don't know why.
Gee, I have no idea. Why would I be stressed?
I have no idea.
But my point between why I wanted to ask you this question, Kelly, because I think that this is like an issue that's like the lines are the sexist more than, political things.
Yeah.
Because I think in some ways, because I mean, Hannah Claire, I'm sure you know that most women aren't conservative.
No, they're not. I mean, there are studies that say women become more conservative after they get married.
Yeah.
But just like anecdotally, I've worked in like single sex schools, like an all girls school versus all boys schools, and consistently, I mean, all schools tend to tack liberal these days. We know that, but women's schools tend to be very progressive, and that's not true for like single sex all boys high schools. They are more mixed or lean slightly conservative in comparison. I think one of the issues, and I don't know how you guys feel about this, is that just generally the bar for what makes you conservative has really shifted. Like it does not take much. And so sometimes I wonder if the newest generation of men are conservative, like what you would think of, if what your
I don't think they are.
80s Reagan voting Republicans would accept.
Barstool conservative.
I don't think they're conservative because I think they're like 2008 Obama voters almost.
Yeah.
Honestly, like the independents and
there are Obama voters that would be considered,
conservative.
moderate or not conservative or not progressive enough these days.
So I was thinking about what you asked me, and I think like with social media and all this stuff that you're seeing, how everyone's becoming so kind of tribal and polarized. I think the women are kind of getting impacted by it at a faster rate than the men are. Both sexes, just whatever it is, whether it's new like critical race theory, right? Whether it's new fringe educational topics that we're talking about, whether it's the climate agenda and stuff like that, whatever social issue you want to take, I think the more extreme take on it, no matter what take that is, I think women are finding that opinion faster than men are. Men are kind of just dragging their feet in the mud.
See, I almost wonder if it's that men are more resistant to some of the changes. Like they are not seeing the quote unquote benefits of a lot of the cultural changes that we've had.
Yeah.
And so
like,
they are
alone.
looking for like, well, I want to split off from society and, do something different, and that brings them back to more traditional and more conservative values.
But then they have corporations like Disney that are pushing them the other way. Also, Jordan Peterson got in on this and said, "Hey, Iger, stock price not low enough for you." He was talking about that video because their stock has dropped so successfully. 5 out of their 6 releases at Disney this year have all failed to make even a cent.
Oh, I meant
They've
you
all lost
mentioned
money.
this earlier. I don't want to get off topic to what we're talking about, Dean, but what Disney, you said they lost money for the first time in 9 years?
No, the stock price is the lowest it's been in 9 years.
What? I'm curious to their major IP purchases around that time. Was that 2014?
They purchased Lucasfilm in 2012, I believe.
Okay.
I could be guys. Somebody fact check me.
Because I'm wondering.
Thank you guys. That's how I win. They can interrupt me all they want, but I get to blow their eardrums out.
Bugle horn.
It's a very healthy work environment here. Don't worry.
Can somebody let me know what year they bought Lucasfilm? Because I believe they bought Marvel in 2000.
Do you think this 9-year high
Can I read the $20 one?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I just love it. How does Hannah Claire wear her hat with her brim low? I'll see myself out.
Oh my
That
gosh,
is from
amazing.
Sean M. Davis. Thank you,
Wow.
Sean. That was very,
Thank
very
you for
good.
spending the money to interrupt the conversation. That was really
Dude,
solid.
can I say, as I get older, the worse jokes are and the less people laugh, the more I like them.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a sign you're going to become a dad
I
soon?
think so.
Yeah, it's coming.
I think so.
Do you ever see that SNL skit about like the cut, and it's a bunch of moms being like, "No, you don't become a mom when you have a kid. It's when you get like the haircut that like
the Karen
you
cut.
Karen cut." I feel like when you start being like, well, that joke is actually very funny. It's like fatherhood is creeping up on you.
There's
Dude,
a couple
I love
of really
terrible
great
jokes.
dad joke channels where it's like the son and it's him and his dad make these like TikToks where he slowly becomes his dad. So it's like he's it's them out to eat at a restaurant and like a waitress comes up and says, "How was your meal?" And like they both look at their plates, which are empty, and his shoes become New Balances with high socks.
Oh, I've seen that one.
And he says, "Clearly, I hated it." Ha 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 ha. Yeah, it's
the dad
amazing.
like
Yeah, and him and the dad both have this thing where it's just great, right? And that's wholesome content. And another reason why the internet or things like the streamies are going to become more relevant because that's just made by some guy. some guy and his dad make these videos. It's not being mass produced.
populist
It's
approach.
not being made by a corporation. It's just being made by a guy in his house, and that resonates more with people than something made by a corporation like Disney, which had 5 of its 6 movies this year all fail. Several of which, like Indiana Jones, were made for people who are older who just chose not to go see it, right? The internet is the future, whether we like it or not.
Dude, I'm telling you, I mean, I know I've been saying this at this point for years, but we were talking, so there's this writer strike going on, right? Yep. And companies like Disney, like their movie portfolio, it's like scheduled for years. Now that they've had a damper in sales, now that they got some time where they can't produce stuff. I don't know if Disney's affected by these stuff. Is it, Brett?
Right now,
Yeah.
all of them are affected. I mean, they're
Cool.
pushing release dates back because of the strike.
I bet right now they are cooking up the next psyop that's past woke.
A lot of people think that they're just going to end up getting bailed out by the government.
Oh, that's nice.
That does seem reasonable.
Hollywood
let's
gets
do
bailed.
that.
They got bailed out during COVID. They absolutely got bailed out during COVID. They got
Let's
huge.
do
You know,
that.
15 years ago, I could make an argument for bailing them out because that's the last real export we have in this country, but not in 2023.
Let's just crash this
No.
ship. Let's do it.
Very accelerationist of you.
But like, if we're, if they're broke and we're still sending Indiana Jones overseas and like, Terminator, RoboCop, the classic
Yeah,
80s
but our
movies.
values are even more so becoming less and less compatible with other countries because America is becoming more and more progressive.
Borg.
Why are we trying to fit into their mold? Take it or leave it, man.
But that's
we're not
what's
changing
happening.
our movie.
But we are changing.
I
them.
know, we shouldn't.
We then try to change them to try to squeeze that last few drops out of their economy. Barbie did great in China. Barbie made money in China. Like nobody thought it would.
Margot Robbie's hot.
And
because Barbie's already an established brand, right? Like Barbie lore, Barbie merch, vintage Barbie apparel, all of that stuff still sells.
There's also there's a weird cultural phenomenon that just like Americans love to get tan, certain countries in Asia, they like to get lighter. So like this idea of porcelain Barbie is very appealing to a lot of people overseas.
Also, guys, 80% of Disney's in-house visual effects team have officially signaled that they want to unionize. So these companies, it's really funny because Bob Chapek is the one that everybody hated because they would falsely accuse him of being like a big Trump guy because he was a numbers guy. He was just like, look, if this won't make money, I want it.
That's so funny.
I want it to make money, and they're like, that's awful.
You are crazy.
But now they hate Bob Iger because Bob Iger's like, this strike is ridiculous. So they hate all of them now. Like Disney's kind of floundering. So take it or leave it, guys. We're gonna still have to go see the movies. We'll still have to go see the damn Rachel Zegler Snow White when it comes out. Can't wait.
Dude, that's crazy that they haven't put a muzzle on her.
They have. Everything that you're watching are resurfaced clips. She can't speak about any of these projects right now because she's on strike. She's not allowed to speak about ongoing clips. Everything you're watching is resurfaced.
Which also means she can't respond to the comments,
Exactly.
right?
Well, that's what
hilarious.
Entertainment Tonight released this like video with like piano music of her talking about how grateful she is, and it's so apparent and transparent that it was made by her PR team and then fed to Entertainment Tonight to try and rehab her image. But unfortunately, the term you only get a first chance at a good first impression is true, and she spoiled herself for everybody.
I don't get why literally everyone in entertainment, if you're a woman, it's like, so we want you to be an ugly, insufferable bitch. Can you do that?
Here's what
She's like, I'm on it.
Yeah.
I'm still having trouble. Maybe you guys can help me, and that's why I'm going to bring it up. But
I'll try.
This idea that America has a supply and demand problem when it comes to people that are discriminated against. It's a discrimination supply and demand problem, right? Mm-hmm. Right now, everyone wants to fight it, and there's very little of it to go around. And that's why of hate crimes and discrimination and actual evil and racism. There's very little of it going around in 2023. Yet the expectation to see it every day is at an all-time high, right? And so people are feeling like there's a void. They're like, I need to fight for something. Like the problem's out there, and so then you end up getting Rachel Zeglers that are absolutely going to war with a movie from 50 years ago for no reason.
But I think it's like an 18% of the population that they're drama addicts and they're addicted. And the thing is, like, if
women.
And the thing is that if you they're addicted, so if you take it away from them, they have withdrawals. And so basically we're feeding these like drama crack addicts so they don't destroy the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess that is one thing we've definitely haven't stopped the behavior or corrected it. We've let it on. That's like the whole like totally given the crybabies everything they've wanted for 10 years now.
Dude, but they're gonna get their comeuppance. Like I keep saying, like we're all due a good laugh, and with all these, especially with it's not Huffington Post. It's basically the same. BuzzFeed.
Yeah.
BuzzFeed saying that they're gonna have AI articles. Brother, like what job are you gonna have when you are writing about 5 outfits for my lesbian cat?
Yeah.
You know, like there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Well, the BuzzFeed one is funny because they had such big layoffs, and then they were like, "Yeah, and we don't even need to replace them because we have AI. Like, you guys are actually useless." Like, insult to injury. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's like it's not going to really hurt these companies because it costs very little to have AI run articles for you and publish them every day. Like in terms of paying for insurance and paying employee salaries and paying for a building, like they're going to be paying nothing to run these new websites with AI.
Yeah.
So who cares if the content's trash? It doesn't cost them anything.
They just need a couple people to upload, and that's it.
Make sure the servers are going, and which they're going to outsource to a company. They're not going to have any IT people on the team.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.